Imagine standing in the middle of a vast desert. Nothing but sand stretching to the horizon, the sun blazing overhead, and no obvious signs of life. Yet beneath your feet lies one of the most valuable resources on Earth: oil. The Middle East, a region often associated with arid landscapes and ancient civilizations, holds an astonishing share of the world's petroleum reserves. But why here? Why does this particular part of the world seem to sit on a massive underground ocean of oil, while other regions have far less? The answer isn't luck. It's geology, time, and a series of extraordinary natural events that unfolded over hundreds of millions of years. Let's explore right here on History of Simple Things. To understand why the Middle East is so rich in oil, we need to go back, way back, to a time when this region looked nothing like it does today. Around 200 to 300 million years ago, much of what we now call the Middle East was covered by shallow seas. These weren't barren waters, they were teeming with microscopic marine life, plankton, algae, and tiny organisms that lived, died, and sank to the bottom. Over time, layers upon layers of these organic materials accumulated on the seabed. As they were buried deeper under sediment, heat and pressure began to transform them into hydrocarbons, the building blocks of oil and natural gas. But having organic material alone isn't enough to create massive oil reserves. The Middle East had the perfect combination of conditions. First, the region experienced long periods of geological stability, allowing thick layers of sediment to build up without being disturbed. Second, the temperature and pressure underground were just right, not too hot to destroy the oil and not too cool to prevent its formation. This Goldilocks zone of conditions allowed oil to form efficiently over millions of years. Another crucial factor is the presence of what geologists call source rocks and reservoir rocks. Source rocks are where the oil is formed, while reservoir rocks are porous layers that can store oil. In the Middle East, these reservoir rocks are often made of limestone or sandstone, materials that can hold vast amounts of oil like a sponge. Above these layers are impermeable rocks known as cap rocks, which trap the oil and prevent it from escaping to the surface. This natural sealing system is one of the reasons why oil deposits in the Middle East are so large and concentrated. Then there's the role of tectonic activity. The Middle East sits near the boundaries of several major tectonic plates, including the Arabian Plate. Over millions of years, the movement of these plates caused the Earth's crust to fold and bend, creating structures known as anticlines, essentially underground arches. Oil naturally migrates upward through rock layers due to its lower density, and these anticlines act like traps, collecting oil in huge quantities. Many of the region's giant oil fields, including some of the largest ever discovered, are found in these structures. Timing also played a critical role. The Middle East's oil formed during specific geological periods when conditions were ideal, particularly during the Mesozoic era. Not all parts of the world experience these same conditions at the same time. Some regions may have had the organic material but lacked the right pressure and temperature. Others may have formed oil but lost it due to tectonic activity or erosion. In contrast, the Middle East managed to preserve its oil deposits exceptionally well. Another reason the region is so oil-rich is simply the scale of the formations. The sedimentary basins in the Middle East are enormous, covering vast areas and extending deep underground. This means that not only is there a lot of oil, but it's also spread across large continuous reservoirs, making extraction more efficient and cost-effective. In many cases, the oil is relatively easy to access compared to other parts of the world where reserves might be trapped in more complex or deeper formations. It's also worth noting that oil isn't evenly distributed even within the Middle East. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates hold the majority of the region's reserves. These areas sit atop some of the most favorable geological structures, where all the necessary conditions, source rock, reservoir rock, cap rock, and structural traps, align perfectly. Interestingly, the same conditions that made the Middle East rich in oil also contributed to its arid climate today. The ancient seas that once covered the region eventually receded, and over millions of years the climate became drier. What was once a thriving marine environment transformed into the deserts we see now. It's a striking contrast: lifeless landscapes on the surface and immense energy resources hidden below. The abundance of oil in the Middle East has had profound implications, not just for the region but for the entire world. It has shaped global economics, politics, and even conflicts. Countries in the region have built entire economies around oil production, and the resource has brought both immense wealth and significant challenges. But at its core, the story of Middle Eastern oil is a story of Earth's history, a reminder that the planet we live on is constantly changing, and that today's deserts were once ancient oceans filled with life. So the next time you hear about oil fields in the Middle East, remember that their existence isn't a coincidence. It's the result of a rare and perfect combination of biological activity, geological conditions, and the passage of deep time. Beneath the sands lies a hidden legacy of ancient seas, a resource millions of years in the making, waiting to be discovered by a modern world that depends on it more than ever. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.